Welcome to the Conflict of Interest module. What is a conflict of interest? A potential conflict of interest may exist if an individual's outside interests, especially financial, may affect or perceive to affect his or her research, teaching, or administrative activities at the university. All employees are expected to act with integrity and good judgment with those individuals and entities doing business or seeking to do business with the university. This includes, but is not limited to, disqualification from participating in decision making when there is a conflict of interest, avoidance of the appearance of favoritism in all dealings on behalf of the university, recognition that acceptance of a personal gift, even when lawful, may give rise to legitimate concerns. What is a conflict of interest? A conflict of interest involves risk of benefit and/or bias. Benefit. A conflict of interest arises when an employee may benefit personally or appear to do so from dealings with an entity or person conducting business with the college, including indirect benefits such as to family members or businesses with which the person is closely associated. Bias. Financial or other considerations may compromise or have the appearance of compromising the employee's objectivity or independent professional judgment in the discharge of college duties and responsibilities. Conflict of interest. A conflict of interest occurs when you have a private interest that may benefit from your actions, or when a private interest could interfere with official duties. An interest need not be financial to create a conflict of interest. Most conflicts result from the exercise of discretionary authority. Institutional conflict of interest may arise when a financial interest of the institution compromises or biases or appears to compromise or bias 1. The design, conduct, or reporting of the research being funded. 2. The design, conduct, or reporting of other research being or to be conducted by the campus or by the university. 3. A conflict may also arise when the resources of the campus or university are utilized in a way that is incongruent with the mission, obligations, or values of the institution, and that is for financial gain. Institutional conflict of interest. The university and its employees are bound by the Nevada state law regarding ethics in government, codified at NRS 281A. The university must avoid and/or manage conflict of interest where its beneficial relationships with corporate entities may place it in conflict with its responsibilities as a public institution. Also, the university must abide by NSHE code. Conflicts of interest can be real, or they can appear real. If a situation looks like a conflict of interest or feels like a conflict of interest, it's likely there is some level of conflict. Use the reasonable person test. If a reasonable, disinterested person would conclude that an individual might emphasize personal interests over other interests for which he or she has responsibility, there is, at the very least, the appearance of a conflict of interest. Think you have a conflict? Consider these questions. Values. Are my actions in alignment with my personal values and those of the institution I represent? Ethics. Do my actions feel right? Do they reflect a basic understanding of generally accepted standards of right and wrong? Integrity. Am I being honest about all facets of the situation? Do the right people know what's going on? If you suspect a conflict, report it. Existence of potential conflict of interest describes a situation, not a judgment on appropriateness of behavior or personal integrity. Faculty members must disclose potential COIs. Regardless of whether it's real or perceived, a conflict is a conflict. As soon as you suspect a conflict exists, disclose it. Transparency is key. Talk with your supervisor before taking action if there's any risk of a conflict. Mitigate the conflict by taking steps to ensure a fair and level playing field among multiple qualified vendors, for example, competitive bids, RFP processes, etc. Abstain from decisions or other involvement where there is a risk of bias, real or perceived. What is a conflict of interest in research? In the sponsored research setting, a potential conflict exists when there is a possibility that an individual's outside financial interests could directly and significantly affect the design, conduct, or reporting of the research. Prior to engaging in a research involving human subjects, all research team members, including external collaborators, must notify the principal investigator of significant financial interests and financial or business relationships or interests that may affect a specific research project, regardless of funding. When preparing an application for exempt determination or for IRB review, the principal investigator must provide the names of the individuals with potential, perceived, or actual conflict of interest. The university must comply with additional requirements from federal agencies and sponsors for disclosure, review, management, or reporting of investigator COIs for sponsored research. Office of Research COI disclosure form required for all federal grants and contracts. Separate disclosure form for information about PI and all participants. UNR defines significant financial interests. Anything greater than $5,000 annual income from one entity. The equity interest exceeds 5% ownership. Equity interest is greater than $5,000 at fair market value. Royalty payments exceeds $5,000 annually. Points for consideration. Financial details. Does the research involve financial relationship that could create conflict of interest? How is the research supported or financed? Is individual or institutional compensation influenced positively by study outcome? Do individuals or institutions involved in the research have proprietary interest in the product? Have equity interest in the research sponsored, and is it a publicly or non-publicly held company? Receive payments of other sorts? How should the financial relationship that create a conflict of interest be managed? Points for consideration 2. Study design details. Where and by whom was the study designed? What is the nature of the study? For example, mechanistic and virtual study versus a clinical study that will increase the value of the financial interest. Will investigators with financial interest obtain consent from patients? Points for consideration 3. Data analysis details. Where and by whom will the resulting data be analyzed? Will investigators with financial interest or their subordinates be involved in primary data analysis? Is there an independent data safety monitoring board and patient safety monitoring plan? selected type of financial interests, per capita payments, money received outside the study, investigator holds equity, institution holds equity. COI management options: disclosure of financial interests to prospective subjects and in publications or presentations, reduction of financial interest to below threshold, data analysis and safety monitoring by individuals unaffiliated with investigator or company, additional oversight or monitoring of the research by external overseers, modification of role of particular staff or trainees, elimination of the financial interest, perform research at non-UNR sites. Consequences of failure to disclose COI. Human subjects in research studies could question the motives of the faculty members and investigators' equipoise. Loss of public support and confidence in an academic health center and in research. Institutional and federal audit of research programs. Public embarrassment of faculty member, medical center, and school. Violation of faculty code of conduct could lead to disciplinary action. COI in research. Key points to remember. Conflicts of interest are a part of academic life. They can usually be avoided and minimized by personal judgment, discretion, and disclosure. Consult with your academic supervisor if you have questions. Some situations must be reconciled by peer review, management, and additional oversight. Level of management and oversight is highly situation dependent and respectful of faculty members' academic freedom. Faculty members must disclose potential COIs annually and when new situations occur. Research situations that require review involve industry sponsorship, clinical research, use of trainees, university financial investment, and when PI has a SFI.